So, Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Welcome to this seminar, Job Application for Architectural Engineers. In this seminar, so I'll be discussing your brand and writing a CV, portfolio, some aspects of the design, developing your LinkedIn profile and using it effectively, as well as we'll look at the cover letter in the end. So originally there are actually four items in your applications: so the CV, portfolio, cover letter, and LinkedIn profile. But before we move on to those things, I want to discuss your brand. So what is your brand? Brand, you'll usually associated with a company or a product or something. It does not associate with you yourself. But nowadays in this competitive environment, you have to brand yourself. You have to advertise yourself that I am this or I am that. It's not that simple anymore. If you brand yourself as a regular architectural engineer, you will most likely not get the job. Unfortunately, this is the situation. So this is why I'll look at the different aspects of your brand. But before, for writing a CV, it's very simple. You don't need a seminar, actually. You go to Google, you search, write a CV, you download a template and plug in your information, and voila, you have a CV. So what's the purpose of this seminar? Is it to download a template and do a CV? It is not. We'll see how to differentiate your CV and how to make it more about your brand, make it more appealing to employers. So, at first, I was asked to do the CV only, but as architectural engineers, the CV, if you apply with the CV only, that's the minimum. That's calling for, or it's saying that I don't want the job. You have to apply with your portfolio. You have been working on several design projects, including your senior design project, your A301 design studio, your working drawings, and other freelance projects in your training, if you have done any project. So you have all those projects. You cannot show them in your CV. You cannot show them anywhere. These are your achievements as well. They display or represent you as a designer, as an architectural engineer, as a designer of buildings, or as a designer of building systems, structural systems, as someone who has the ability to design energy efficiency buildings. So that will not show on the CV. You have to show it in a portfolio, and that's why you need a portfolio. You need a cover letter as well to approach the employer or to approach the job. It cannot be like, dear sir, this is my CV, thank you. It does not work that way. You also need to have a good connection, good social connection on LinkedIn. Connections are very important, and they may even be the reason you get a job, actually. So we'll look at into all the aspects beyond the CV itself only. So starting with your brand. So to understand that, your brand in general, brand in general is the use of names, phrases, symbols, or design in order to distinguish something from other things. Companies use logo to differentiate. They even have their own vision and other things. As a person, you can have authenticity. You can have your own personality can be different. Your commitment, differentiation, your values are different. So this all together, it creates a brand. The more crystal clear on what they are and what they aren't. So the best brands have focus, and they know what they are. As an architectural engineer, well, we will see in the next slide how we can be crystal clear. So the question for you is to decide what you are and what you are not. And you need to take it seriously. You need to take yourself seriously. You need to take your brand seriously. You need to ask yourself, and you need to ask yourself from the beginning of your career, or of your degree, actually, from the beginning of your bachelor's. What do I want to be after 4 years? Do I want to be an architectural engineer and that's it? It will not work, as I said before. You have to decide yourself what is your brand. The best time to decide is at the first years or the second years, so you can build on your decision, and we'll see how you can build on it. But even if it's your third year or your fourth year, or you're close to your graduation, it's not still late. You can still work on developing yourself or branding yourself. So let's see, as architectural engineers, what can be our brand. So brands of architectural engineers. So you have the architectural engineer as it is. And as it is, you will have hundreds, if not thousands, of architectural engineers graduating in the country and looking for a job. So you need to go and brand yourself in depth. You can be an architectural engineer with focus on energy efficiency. These are some examples. You can be a structural designer. You may go, and if you're really competent and good, you can get some certifications, and you can be verified. And it can be anything. If you're, it also depends on the job you're applying. So the focus, it can be on residential buildings if you're applying to Ministry of Housing or something. But so there are so many different ways in which you can specialize yourself. Now, I know this may be confusing for some of you. You might say that if I focus myself on one thing, I may miss out on the other things. And I may not get the job in the other thing, and I'm still good at it. Keep in mind, you will not be working as if you work in a good company, which ultimately your aim should be. You will not be working on everything. You will be focused. Focus, and focus. Your expertise will be in one area. So you need to decide that area, and you need to build on it. Now, as a department, we will make you an architectural engineer. Your senior project might make you a specialized in structural designer or MEP or something. But what will define your focus will be your extra curricular activities. So you need to start building your brand. As I said, you need to start early. It cannot be done overnight or even in 1 month. If I need to get a certification, I need to prepare for it and educate myself in it while I'm studying the regular courses, while I'm getting exams and everything from the professors. But so it will take time. It will take at least 1 semester for you to be called as a lead green associate or as any other thing. So start early. The best time is to start thinking about it in your first year. If not the first year, then you can always think about it before your summer training, if you're or your co-op. But in your senior year, this is the maximum you can go, because at this time you still have a chance to take your senior project and become specialized in something and get a certification at the same time. But after that, it will be too late. More often than not, I know students, even me, this was the case. Towards the end of the degree, we start building the CV. And when we're building it, we don't have a brand or anything. We say, okay, what should I add here? And you come to realize that you haven't done much, or you could have done more. So better than regretting, start early. And if you cannot start early, like if you're already in the third year or the fourth year, then take some extra courses or extracurricular courses, try to get some certifications before graduation, quick certifications, and try to get involved in different activities. Create your own activities and forums. You can get involved, involved in discussions. You can even create your own activities or forums. I know some of you or your seniors, some of your seniors have started a forum on near zero energy home, and that's become their brand. And that's a very good initiative. So something like this will define you, and you need that. You need that. You cannot be just a plain architectural engineer in this day and age. So once you build your brand and you define yourself and you define your brand, now you need to reflect it on the CV and all the other aspects of your application. So let's move on to the other section, which is writing a CV. So as I said before, I will not discuss it in the general terms, because writing a CV is simple. You can go to Google, download a template, plug in your information, and you have a CV. But more often than not, you apply with your CV and you will not get a job. So what is the reason for that? Yes, Zakaria.
Yes, Doctor, but before going to the CV, about the brand, can I say that brand means having a portfolio in general?
No, your brand should be in your portfolio. Your portfolio will contain your projects and your ideas, but it's not your brand. Your brand is maybe you're specialized in sustainability, maybe you specialize in project management, maybe you need to sit and you need to ask, who am I beyond architectural engineer?
Okay.
It's not your portfolio. Your portfolio will reflect your creativity, not your brand.
Okay, thank you.
Welcome. So writing a CV, we'll look how we can reflect our brand into the CV, as well as how can we customize a CV so it does not look like an CV of any other Muhammad. So before you begin writing a CV, you need to do some research on the company you're applying for. You should know the position. If you're looking at a specific position, research it and modify your CV accordingly. Now, what do? As students, we do not have time. I will make one CV, I will send it to 15, 20 different companies. And I'll most likely get a rejection from all of them. What you need to do is modify or adjust or cater your CV specifically to that company. And there are some minor adjustments which you can make. It's not a major adjustment, some minor adjustment to reflect that company, reflect that position. And we will talk about that later on. Also know which type of job you're looking for. Are you looking for an industry job? You want to work in the industry, or a company such as Jacob Zayt or Bureau Happold or the Riyadh Metro company. These are all industry jobs. There are some research jobs, for example, CAPSARC, KAKER, or even Aramco has a research unit. So the CV for this, applying for this job will be different from the industry job. You will emphasize more on your research aspects. Of course, over here, your brand will be as a researcher, and you will most likely have worked in some research projects at your undergraduate level. And by the way, there are vacancies, or there are projects which professors have, and they have positions for undergraduate researchers. Unfortunately, we do not apply, or we do not even know about them. So if you ask any professor that do you have a project, funded project, you get paid for it, and you get to work on it as a undergraduate researcher. Just go ask any professor that if you have a project funded for an undergraduate student, and you will get some research experience. If they have something, they will allow you. If they do not have, they will clearly tell you. There's no harm in approaching and asking. An academic job is different than the other two. Academic CVs are much longer and more detailed in other aspects. You focus on your academic qualifications and experience, the courses you may have assisted in or taught. Academic CVs are usually after the master's level. At the undergraduate level for graduate assistant, the academic CV may be similar to an industry CV. But if you are looking to go for an academic job as an or an academic pursue graduate assistant, then you need to start building yourself as an academic or start building your brand from before as an academic. This may include getting some experience. I know some of you do grading work. That's an excellent experience. But while you're doing the grading work, you can also ask the professor that I want to teach one class, or I want to be a part of one of the labs and conduct one of the labs, or something like that. And nobody will deny, actually. It will be actually good for the professor if you are competent enough that somebody can assist in teaching in that. And you only need to teach one lecture, and then you go to your CV and you say that I have taught this course, or I have assisted in teaching this course. Nobody can deny it. So you need to think about your area first and the type of CV you're doing. The research and academic CVs are different. We'll be focusing on the industry job and industry CV. And if anyone wants to know more about research and academic, then I can have a discussion separately at any other time. So first, in writing a CV, using templates. So using templates has many advantages and disadvantages. First thing you need to know is that recruiters spend on average only 6 seconds scanning a CV. So the very first impression is key. You have more than maybe 100 or 1,000 of applicants on one single job. You have 6 seconds to sell yourself and sell your brand. The first impression is something that does not see your qualifications and your experience. It more depends on the template or the design of the CV and your headline. So at templates, the advantage is that it can help you in creating a simple, organized one-page CV if you choose the right template. It is attractive to look at. So it will give a first impression, which is good. But on the other hand, there are many disadvantages of the template. And I myself, I do not like if I see a CV which is using a template from the internet directly without some customization. Similar to PowerPoint, if I see someone using a regular template which has been used, the one which has green line here or some, it shows that the guy did not spend much effort on representing himself, and it's a negative effect directly. So every applicant is using them, no matter which template you go to, how deeply you search, you go to the 50th page of Google and download a template, it has been used and it is being used by an applicant for the job. So what does this create? It creates a lack of personal touch. It misses your brand. And this has a negative effect. If you have a brand, if you have a personal touch to the CV, it will catch the eye of the employer. And most likely they will keep your CV in the section for detailed screening. If it's the regular CV of any other Joe or Muhammad or with the same template, I'm just gonna, as a hiring manager, I'm just going to keep it separate or throw it. Because I'm getting 100, 500 applications for one job. So this is one of the disadvantages of the template. And it's very easy to actually get trapped in this disadvantage because we don't like to spend effort in personalizing the template or the CV. But it's not the right way to do it. And we will see how to customize templates, we can use it as a base, but how to add our personal touch to it. Another disadvantage, it may be overcomplicated, too colorful, and as a result, not print friendly. Overcomplicating a CV or making it too colorful, overcomplicating it, I'm not going to read it, basically. It's not organized well. I do not have the time to look at the CV and scour through, so it's going to be discarded. If it's too colorful, it's not print friendly, which means that as a hiring manager, I need to print 100 CVs. I have this colorful CV, and if I print it, I'm going to be wasting ink, and it's not a good idea. So most likely, or most importantly, your CV should be print friendly. It should be able to print in black and white. This is another reason. If it's too colorful, hiring managers or companies, they will usually print CVs in black and white to save costs. Color printing is usually reserved for clients and other high-end things. So if your CV is based on color, and it's printed in black and white, then it will have a negative effect. I may not be able to understand something or read something. So make sure your CV is print friendly, and we'll see how to do it. So these are some examples, and some basic examples. To the left is a CV which is most likely done in Microsoft Word. And while this may work for other engineering jobs, as an architectural engineering, architecture engineer doesn't work. Your field is more creative. You need to be more creative, have some infographs. So the CV on the right is more appropriate, and it shows the person's brand a little bit more, although it has some disadvantages. For example, this color at the top. This color also is showing that I have to print. Even if this CV works in black and white, it's still black ink being wasted. And this might look like a minor thing to you now, but it's a major thing actually, and I will not print it. It's a waste of ink. It's also dark bluish black in color, and it goes with this gray and light gray gradient over here. So it works. It may work in black and white, but it's designed as a color. So and it's best looked in color printing. So this is a disadvantage. So a black and white with such a template CV might look something like this. So this was my own CV back last year in summer, and it's almost a similar template, and but it's also printable in black and white. And one of the reasons why at first I didn't do it black and white, it was color. But if I go to a job fair or a career day over here, I have to print 15 CVs or 20 CVs, for example. I print, and I'm a student, I need to print 20 CVs. I need to print my portfolio as well. It's a cost. And if I print this CV in color, 20 CVs, just a quick example, one print for color will cost me 2 riyals. So 20 CVs will cost me 40 riyals. While this CV, it will be black and white. One print will, or 4 prints will cost me 1 riyal. And for 20 prints, I need only 4 riyals or 5 riyals. So that's a cost which is unnecessary cost, and it's a preventable cost. So try to design your CV in black and white. And as you can see in this CV, it is almost similar to the other color CVs and other templates. So some of the key features of this CV, and even in this CV, which are important, you should have no spelling or grammar mistake. And this applies generally actually. If you have a spelling or grammar mistake, then it shows a person who lacks education, or is someone who doesn't care about these minor issues, who's not detail oriented. Being detail-oriented is what our job is as architectural engineers. We need to look at the specific details. If my name starts with a small letter, it's a no-no. I'm going to reject the CV. If the university's name is starting with small letters, it's a no-no. And if there are some mistakes in the grammar or something, it means you have not proofread your CV and you're not putting that effort, you're not serious about things. So make sure you have no grammar, spelling or grammar mistakes. More often than not, we as architectural engineers will design or make our CV in Photoshop or Illustrator. It does not have a spell check, or it's like Word, or it does not display the spelling mistakes. So we ignore such mistake. The best thing to do at that time is to send your CV before to a friend, to someone you know, to your big brother, to a professor, and have them quickly scour and proofread for mistakes and highlight the spelling or grammar mistake. And take help from others. Everyone is here to help. Next is the clear and consistent alignment. So in this CV, I have two alignments. I have one column here. I have another column starting from here and over here. So these two columns, the one over here, the alignment is here. This is the vertical alignment, and everything is following that. On this column, everything is following this alignment. So it makes for a consistent and clear alignment and makes it easy to read. Even the horizontal sections and alignment, they are clearly differentiated following the same format. It makes it easy to read. Yes, Sattam.
The technical skills in your CV, do you give the percentage to yourself?
Yeah, this is what I'm going to come to.
Oh, sorry, okay.
So, and I will discuss all of these sections in details later on. Right now, it's just the format. So include some infographics. This is the best section to have infographics. You need to show some creative aspect as well, as your field is about creativity. It should be print friendly, as I discussed before. Plenty of white space. This white space may look like something that I'm wasting paper, and some of you might just go and try to write as much as possible and fill up the space. Well, that is wrong. As someone who's looking to hire someone, I need the space to, or a hiring manager, they need the space to understand and to breathe, and your CV should have these. Use a simple font, the standard fonts, Arial, Helvetica, Tahoma, Franklin Gothic, simple font, but stick to it. Differentiate the using bold, italics, and underline to differentiate the hierarchy. My name is biggest, then I have my professional title or my brand separately. This brand is actually not a good example because it's just showing a general aspect. But this CV was old, so at that time I didn't put a brand, but now it cannot be an architect. It could be architect focusing on sustainable buildings or something like that, architect/lead GA. So your brand should be differentiated. Your headings are differentiated with bold. If I have something else, then it's underlined, and then I also italics. So differentiate what is more important with what is less important, what it's showing details. So typical sections include header, objective, education, work experience, voluntary work experience, awards and certifications, technical and language skills, references, and optional are, it can be research publications or any other, or if you have a research experience, it can be added. But these are the typical which are associated with fresh graduates. So we look at them in details, and we'll look at some customization methods. So let's go to the header with contact information. So you have your name, and next to it, you will have your brand, next or underneath. So notice that I have put your brand. If you put your title as I put in my CV or your professional qualification, like architect or architectural engineer, it will not work. You need to put your brand, and there's no harm in that. You can put architectural engineer, and then you can put a dash and you put your brand. You can differentiate between your brand and architectural engineer if you're not comfortable with only putting it as your brand. But you should customize it and have your brand adjacent to it. If you have no certification or to verify your brand, then no problem. What did you do in your senior project, or what have you done in your other projects? Then you define the brand yourself. You say, okay, me as a person, I want to be this, or I'm more comfortable doing this. So define that. Then you have your contact information, email address, telephone number. LinkedIn profile is a must nowadays, and it is checked and it should be updated. We will come to it in the LinkedIn section. You have your home address. You do not need a photo in your CV. This may go in the portfolio, but not in the CV, unless there's a employer who gave you a template and asked you to include a photo. This is a no photos. Next section is the summary or
you mean if we put a photo, will be a disadvantage?
Yes, you do not put a photo. It will be a disadvantage because it will take unnecessary space from your CV, and it is not the right place to put the CV is not the right place to put a CV. In your CV, you need to put all the other information. You can put your photo on your portfolio. Your photo will be on the LinkedIn profile, not on the CV. It will take unnecessary space, and no one is going to look at it. It will also mean that your CV needs to be printed as color, which, as I explained before, is a disadvantage. So no photo. So summary. So next section can be either be called summary or objective. I personally prefer objective. Summary. What is the difference? Summary is who you are at the moment, and objective is who you want to be. So at this level, who you are just a fresh graduate, to be honest. I'm a fresh graduate with an architecture engineering degree with a focus on this. It's already explained in the other areas of your other CV. Right now, you are not prominent as a fresh graduate, so the summary might work against you. To be on the safe side, put the objective. The objective is who you want to be. Who you want to be in the next 5 years, in the next 10 years. What your brand will be in the next 5 or 10 years. What do you want from this job? It's more plus. It shows that you are eager. So I always put the objective. It should be maximum 2-line statement explaining who you want to be, what is the destination of your brand, and this is how you will customize the objective. Some people will just have the objective that in the next 5 years, I want to be a good architectural engineer who will design big buildings and do big projects. That doesn't show anything, everybody wants to be that. So you bring in your brand in your objective, and that will customize it. In the next 5 years, I want to be a recognized sustainable building designer who would have worked on designing, building, and implementing sustainable building techniques on, something like this. It is more appealing. So change the wording based on the job you're applying for, but never change your brand. So if you're applying for a job which is different, 2 different jobs which are different, you need to just minorly change. As I said before, that we will do the same objective, apply to 25 different jobs, and that is going to work against it. There might be companies which are focus more on MEP or structural engineering, then you will focus on that aspect, keeping your brand. So if your brand is sustainability, you will say, and you're applying to a structural engineering firm, you'll say that my brand is, or I am applying, or I want to be a sustainable structural designer, something like this. It may seem like that it's coming out of, it's not good, or it's, exaggeration or something. It is, and it should be, and you should exaggerate at this point, and you should not be shy. If you're shy, your CV will be very small. So do not be shy, and you can exaggerate. You have all the right to exaggerate in this area. Next, you have the education. So typically, you will have your date of graduation, degree, university, city, and country. These are a must-have. We have your GPA, if above 3. If it's below 3, it will work against you. Your main courses. Now, this is something which students avoid, because it's very easy to do this, and that's it. But what will customize this section is if you highlight your achievements which you are proud of. These may include your senior project, that I have done this in my senior project, brief description, or the prominent achievement is that I was selected to be part of this advisory board, blah, blah. I graduated best in class, or my senior project was the best in class. It got the highest grade, blah, blah. I'm an honor, I'm a second honor, I'm a third honor, I'm a first honor. Highlight your achievements which you are proud of, and make sure you include these, and make sure you have some achievements which you are proud of. Now, I'm not going to ask you guys to start doing things and start getting achievements. This is your own personal preference and personal time, but I'm going to emphasize that if you are in the second year, the third year, even the fourth year, get some achievements under your belt. Do some things which you look at afterwards while you're doing your CV, and you say, okay, wow, I have done this. I'm going to highlight this as part of my achievement. And I was at the same stage, stuck at the third year for summer training while doing the CV. You list this, and then you say, okay, you ask yourself, what was my achievement which I'm proud of? And it's a blank. I have nothing. I'm a straight A student. My GPA is above 3, but is there anything I'm proud of? Nothing. So try to do something which is different, which you're proud of at this stage. Yes, Imran.
But Doctor, for example, about the GPA, we know that in our university, most of our students graduate with GPA below 3. So should all of them hide their GPAs in their CVs?
Well, okay, I'll give you some space. If it's above 2.5 or 2.75 included, but if it's below that, 2.75, maximum 2.75. Below 2.75 is going to show that you are not a hard worker, or it will work against you. This GPA is not a requirement. You can hide it. Nobody asks you for your GPA. It is a good reflection if it's above 2.75. It will be it will show that okay, this guy is smart, or he works. Even in KFUPM, 2.75 is the threshold, I believe. Underneath it, underneath 2.75, hide your GPA. Yes, Zakaria.
Doctor, in our case, as you know, we have the major GPA and the overall GPA. For some of us, the major GPA is much, much better than the overall. So can we put the major, or to be a disadvantage for us?
No, put the major GPA. If the major GPA is higher, put the major GPA. There is, over here you will write CGPA. CGPA is the cumulative GPA, which is all the GPA for the whole degree. But if that is below the threshold, then write major GPA. But you have to indicate that this is the major GPA, and it's above 3.
Okay. Can I put the major GPA without saying that it's the major GPA?
No, that will be like you're hiding, or be honest in your application. Never lie. Okay.
Okay.
So, be honest, and someone will read major GPA, someone might not, and if it's above, if you write major GPA, it will not work against you. It will show that you're an honest person. So never hide that.
Okay.
So the main core, highlight your achievements. All right, we already discussed that. Next is the work experience. Yeah, include all the experience: part-time, grading, research work, summer training, co-op, freelancing. You were a receptionist. You did babysitting, or you did whatever. Include it. Why are you shy? You do not have this experience at the time. If you hide it. In fact, if you include this other experience, which is, or you did part-time work as a grader, or you did part-time work as a library assistant, or whatever, it will show that you are working for money. It is a positive reflection of you. You are capable of doing work, and you are capable of doing minor tasks for your own personal achievement, for money. If you hide all this, you say, okay, I did some library assistant work, but it does not matter. I'm applying for an architectural engineering job. It's not true. It does matter, especially when you're a fresh graduate. When you start building your work experience after 2 years, 3 years, inshallah, then you start eliminating or deleting those minor experiences, those small works. But at the moment, right now, you need to include everything, even the small thing you did for 1 month, for 2 months, include everything. Do not be shy in this area. Then you have to put the date, organization, and position title. Position title, if it was given from someone, then include it, or you can make up your own position title. For example, for graders, we have a general position title, then you can give architectural engineer grader or something like that. Make up your own. No one is going to call you on that. Your responsibilities in your own words. Now, once I have put all this, now some people will say, okay, that's it. I do not need to put everything. So anything else, but that is not true. That will make a general CV. Now you need to put your responsibilities and your achievements in your own words. Some of the words or adwords which apply over here is assisted in blah, 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 applied this, blah, 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 demonstrated in blah, blah, worked in a team to do this, to demonstrate this, and so on and so forth. You will find so many examples, or you can use your own words, but have at least 2 or 3 qualities of this work which you have included. If you worked as a receptionist in a hotel for your summer or something, then you can say, I dealt with customer service, or dealt with customers to help them or give them a positive experience. It sounds like I'm making things up, or I'm emphasizing, or I'm exaggerating stuff, but it's not. It is how it should be. Do not be shy. Exaggerate the stuff. So next, voluntary work experience. Before I go to the details, the voluntary work experience is something which you should do, and you should participate in. Voluntary work, what qualifies as voluntary work is club work, member, president, vice president, whatever. This is an opportunity which you have in KFUPM, especially with the Architectural Engineering Club, and this qualifies as voluntary work. This is some work which you're doing outside of your, or without any positive gain, you're not gaining anything. So the only thing you're gaining is that you will mention in your club, in your CV, that I have been an active member, or I have been the president, the vice president of this club. Underneath it, you will, of course, list your responsibilities and achievements. There's also the voluntary day at KFUPM. You indicate that I went to a shelter, I went to this, and we did this. Charity organization works. Get associated with charity organizations. There are several organizations. Personally, I worked for an organization, SILAM, as a graphic designer. And I mentioned that, if you're working with an organization, a charity organization to help orphans, you say, okay, I help them manage their paperwork or something like that. It's a very good item to fill your CV and represent your personal quality. Other works may include relevant or not relevant work to architectural engineer. Many students now work with ISRA and these sort of similar organizations to arrange exhibitions, organize events. So mention that's voluntary work. That's excellent work. There are also other calls for voluntary work in other expos and other areas. You have to go to it, first of all. You have to develop that voluntary work experience, especially in this 4 years of your undergraduate degree. Get some voluntary work experience. Some people might say, no, I want to focus on my degree or getting a good GPA. A voluntary work experience will not gain or give me any benefit. Well, that is not true. You will earn the experience. You will earn the right to brag about it in your CV and an interview, as well as you will earn some good deeds. Why not? So similar to the work experience, mention your responsibilities in your own words. So you have the awards and certifications. You should mention all your awards and certification with dates and nature of the award or certificate. But before you mention it, you need to have it. So work on getting some awards, getting some certifications. See, my advice is that you do not need to get a 3.5 or a 4 GPA. You can get a 3.25 or a 3.3 GPA, and if you're good, get a 3.5 GPA, but get something on the side. Get an award, maybe a research award or any other award, maybe a best design award. Get a certification. Lead Green Associate is the best certification if you're aiming for sustainability or those type of things. It's very common now. It's not that difficult to get it. You can also get other certifications such as Autodesk Revit certification or in Revit. So try to get involved or get as many certifications. You can also do some courses on Coursera or Udemy and put that certification. Although those have not that much value, but they still, at this level at least, at the undergraduate level, they have a significant impact. So get engaged in them. And now it's not that difficult for you to take a course, to give an exam, get a certification. Allocate some time on it, on the sacrifice of your coursework. This is my personal advice. For architectural engineers, you have the Lead Green Associate, Autodesk Revit, and there's also, for project management, if you're interested, there is a PMP. It is more advanced, but everyone or most of the graduates, after 2 or 3 years working in the field, they go for this certification. But if you are a graduate who's already graduating with this certification, you get a job immediately. It will boost your chances of getting a job. So your certification should be in the area of your brand. You want to be, if you want to be in the safety, you go for OSHA or NIBOSH certification. Those are 2 organizations. Sustainability is LEED, and you can search for the awards and certifications in your area. Next is the technical and language skills. So you need to put all your computer and language skills and this need to be evaluated by yourself based on your own judgment. On the CV itself, it will be from your own, but we will see on LinkedIn that you may get endorsements from other people, and that will verify your technical skills. But on the CV, it is your best judgment, but you have to be honest. If you say you're an expert in, let's say, Photoshop, you go to the job, you do not know how to use Photoshop, you will get fired immediately. And you have to be honest in your own evaluation. You may use infographics in this part, and this is the best part to put the infographics. Never include general skills such as time management, or I'm highly motivated to work, I have these skills. Why? Because again, these skills will be self-evaluated. While the technical skills can be evaluated based on the amount, you can know that, okay, I feel comfortable calling myself an expert or beginner or a medium user in Revit. But if you call yourself that I have a very good time management, that shows that someone who is overconfident, or there's no verification actually that you're good in time management. How can you say that I'm good at time management? It basically can be a lie, and everybody does that. Everyone has that in their CV. It's not a good advice to put this. It may backfire. It may backfire. You might say that I am very highly motivated to learn and blah, blah, blah. The company may hire you and say, okay, learn this and within 2 months, and we'll make you the head of this after you learn this in 2 months. You'll be stuck. And so do not include this. It may show in your LinkedIn profile if somebody else endorses it, but not on your CV. This is my recommendation. So references, first, make sure that your reference knows you're adding him or her as a reference. For example, if you had Dr. Adel Abdu as your reference and he does not know, the company contacts him and he says, this guy put me a reference, I don't know anything about it. Your job is gone and your reference is gone. So make sure if you're putting a reference, they know that you are putting them. If you do not have any credible reference at the moment, you do not feel comfortable asking or contacting, then there's no problem. Do not put them. Just put, or there's less space on the CV, just put that the reference is available on request. If the company is interested in you, they will contact you. They will say, okay, now provide us with the reference. Then you can contact the professor or someone and ask them that, will you be available, or will you kindly be my reference for this job or for this company? And this is how it should work. My suggestion, put, yes, 2 of you raised your hands. Zakaria.
No, I just raised my hand. For the references, Dr. Wahaj, I remember back to English 214, my instructor, Josh Bellam, told me to put the reference always, because if I didn't put it, that means I give my impression that I'm lazy to put these things, you know?
See, if you have space on your CV, and if you have a credible reference, then put it. For example, a professor or someone, then put it. But if there is no space on CV, then you might go and delete something on the other sections in your education or certification. I do not advise that. Just put available on request. It does not show that you're lazy. If you put it, of course, it shows that you're active and you have already contacted the reference, and you already are sure that this guy will give me a good reference. It shows that you are active and you are better. It improves your chance. But if you do not put it, it does not show that you're lazy. It's neutral. Available request is fine also.
Okay.
Okay. Some of you might be uncomfortable with contacting or saying that contacting a professor and saying that I'm going to put your name as the reference at the moment. So it's okay. It's not needed. You can always refer back to him, to the company. Companies usually, they have an automated referencing system. which sends an email automatically to your referee. So they will ask about your reference separately if they're really, really interested. So available on request is also fine. Right, so that was the CV, and I hope it's clear. These are, and we saw as the template at first that how to design the CV and what to include in some of the sections. Next, we have the portfolio. So the CV will not have everything. And the purpose of your portfolio is to highlight your best work and display accomplishments, skills, and potential to employers. They visually showcase examples of work, while a resume or CV only provides bullet points. So visually showcasing examples of your work as architects or architectural engineers is the most important thing. As I said before, you need to show some of the works which you have done. What are your capabilities as a design, as a creative mind, and with the software? That will not show in the CV. That will only show in your portfolio. So if you are applying for a job, or if you're contacting someone, always have your portfolio and prepare your portfolio from before. The portfolio will represent your brand in the best way as well. So if you have thought about your brand from the beginning, if you have thought about your brand as a, let's say, sustainable architectural engineer or a sustainability professional, and you have done a project in 301, which is almost about sustainability. You have done a project about, or now you have a concentration. So you have a concentration in sustainability in ARE, then your senior project is focusing on that. So I will see it in the portfolio. I will see the project which you have done, and I will say, okay, this guy has said that his brand is this. He is calling himself a sustainable engineer. Let me see if he's able to work in that as well. And I will go to the portfolio and I will see, okay, this guy has works or projects in that area, and he is original, or he is verified, and it will increase my chances of getting hired. They used to have physical or printed portfolios, but the trend nowadays is to have digital portfolios. You may create a website, wix.com or any other, or send a PDF file to the employer directly, or a Google Drive link, which should not be more than 25 MB. So why not? So sending a website is a good idea. You can include your link, and you can have the similar information in a PDF. Sending directly is not a good idea. Portfolios usually become very heavy. They may exceed 25 MB, but you may lower the resolution and try not to exceed 25 MB. So I'm not going to download, even if it's 25 MB as a hiring manager, I'm not going to download it. So that's why a website is a good idea. Or you can send a Google Drive link, which also opens up or previews the portfolio directly. But if it's more than 50 MB, I think, then it does not preview on Google Drive as well. So do not exceed more than 25 MB in your portfolio. So the preference is to have 20 pages, around 20 pages, maximum 30 pages, A3 size, because you should design it A3 size, because portfolios are standard printed on A3 size. If the company is interested in you, they may print it on an A3 size. If your portfolio is originally A4 size, then this will increase the size and make it blurred or distorted. So it's best to design on A3 size. So the design and content using an example. So the what you need to include in your portfolio, you need to highlight you may highlight the strategic accomplishments or prototype designs or any completed works which you have done over the years, over 4 years. This may be academic, non-academic, freelance works, on anything, any other works, which management work, strategic work. It may include photos, 3D renders, blueprints, plan, section elevation, and diagrams that highlight how the project was designed. But it should, at the same time, it should include all of these, but it should not include all of them. What I'm trying to say is that for each project, you may vary. For one project, you may have 3D renders, and for another one, you have 3D render and blueprints. Blueprints, especially, you do not have to put the section, elevation, plan for every detail for all the project. You may just put a plan. You have to actually put one plan or one section for any project you may select, because that will verify that, okay, this guy knows how to do technical drawings as well as 3D renders. So let's see an example, and that will give us a better idea. So this is an example of a Google Drive link, how it can be shared. And if I click on it, and this is my own portfolio, which I did in beginning of 2019 while searching for jobs. So it previews like this. The file is around 22 MB. So your portfolio design should reflect your CV design as well. My CV is black and white. My portfolio cover page is also black and white, somehow representing. Maybe the font is same. My brand is same. So you need to have a, it should reflect each other. Cover page should be simple, not overcomplicated. No one's going to spend much time in this. You have a content which will guide. So this portfolio I did long time ago, or 1 year ago. It has some drawbacks. For example, I haven't mentioned my brand, so I need to mention it. I have the contents clear and crisp, but the order is wrong. It shouldn't be like this. I need to show my latest project at the earliest. The reason why, some companies or hiring managers, they will look at the first few pages of your CV, of your portfolio, and they will not look at the rest. So the first few pages, I need to have the best item which I've worked, not the worst, because it goes without saying. If the first semesters, the work is bad, while the senior, as you learn, as you progress in your degree, it will get better. Also, notice that I have included selected architectural works, and I mentioned it. You may have selected architectural engineering works or selected engineering works. It's same thing, but do not include everything. Courses or projects in which you have got a bad grade, in which you know that, okay, this was a bad semester for me, I have done bad, I will not include it, hide it. So that's why it will be selected works only, not all the works. Next, you have the personal information. Over here, you include your photo. This is your portfolio. It has images. You will have your brand, again, mentioned over here, some personal information. You can have other social media as well, but it doesn't really matter. Then you start with your projects. As I said, it should be the other way around. It should be starting from 2015. This is my portfolio is in the wrong order, but the template itself is very simple. I have the project mentioned here, which studio it was, or which course it was. You have 3-4 courses, senior design, or it can be also which, if it was freelance work or it was summer training work, whatever. Mention the semester, the date maybe. Some objective and philosophy if you have, and then images, only images. For this project, it's only physical model, so images of the model. Over here at the side, I have the same details, then images, maybe 1 or 2 diagrams at the top. Some additional images on one page without any text or anything to showcase the project. Diagrams, again, this is another project. And this project, I had all the plan section elevations, but I did not include, I just included one diagram, which is the good diagram actually, and detailed the project using that. This one render only. The rest of the information, it's not needed because I know that the plan at this level which I developed is bad. It does not reflect me of who I am right now. But while at the same time, the one which I have done at the senior represents me more. Then I have another project. This is too much text, not needed. Some images, some philosophy, some renderings. Then over here, now I put a plan because this is a well-developed plan with a list of spaces and some other circulation diagram. So you can have, same for architectural engineers, you have the same concept. If you're focusing on MEP, then maybe you won't have renderings like this. You will focus on the design you did for the structural system or the mechanical system, but the overall idea or concept is same. Some section is important. It will show that he knows or the person knows how to do ideas. So this is it. Then the senior project, you will include more detail. As you can notice that for the projects in the beginning, I have only one page. Then as I get more developed, I included maybe 3 pages, while in the senior, I have the most number of pages, 5 pages maybe, or 6-7 pages. So because it will, as I do the senior project, as I increase, or as my work increases, my profile or my quality of work increases, the more details I've included. Then I have some other projects, freelance work and design office work. It's always good to do it at this moment. Some of you do not do any freelance or design office work. Do it even if it's for free, because later on you can include it in your CV and your portfolio. So these are just in the same concept, some works. You can summarize your CV on 1 page. If you're having 1 extra page, add a photo and make it more artistic, and then end it the last page. So this is 30 pages. It's a bit excessive, but 20 to 30 pages, I think, is enough if you have 4 projects, 5, 6, 7 projects. It's more than enough. So that was the portfolio with example. And if you apply with a portfolio, then it will definitely increase your chances of getting that job. And because I will relate to you more, I will see your examples, I will see your work, as you guys saw in that example, the organization and what to include. While doing this portfolio, I did a lot of research and what to include and what not to include. So you guys can always open this and follow this example. Next is LinkedIn. So building your profile, number 1, update. Yes. So more often than not, I see LinkedIn profiles of students who were in their, let's say, 2nd year, 3rd year. They were very active. They were very motivated. You did a very nice LinkedIn profile. 1 year or 2 years later, you stopped updating it. Your CV is updated, your LinkedIn profile is not updated. They will check if your LinkedIn is mentioned, and they will do a search about you. They will check your LinkedIn profile. If it's not updated, it means you're inactive. You are not proactive. It's a negative effect. If you have a LinkedIn profile, update it. Please update it. Have the recent picture, have your recent picture in it, have your recent qualifications, have everything. Other things should be same as the CV which you're applying. So building your profile, let's have a quick look at my profile. So I developed this profile and I got approached through it by many employers. And I have lots of things which are completed. It should be completed and focused, your profile. So I will use my example. You might find other examples which are better than this. I have a picture. So you have a name. This is called the heading. For you, it will be different. For me, someone who has a job, it's different. For someone who's looking actively for a job, it's different. We'll come to it in the next section. Then the about. The about, it can be your objective, and over here you can put your summary as well. It can be, you can detail it, maybe have one paragraph. It's actually better to have your summary and your objective both in the about. So in the experience, it will be the same as your CV, but there is an advantage in LinkedIn. In LinkedIn, you can now add documents or images to your experience. Now, there are lots of things or some documents you may get in your experience, which cannot be a recommendation, called as recommendation letter, or they can be added as an achievement. But for example, this is an appreciation letter, which I have included as an attachment. So adding, you can add, if I go to edit this, you can see I can upload media. You can add link or external document, photos or anything. And it's good actually. It will show that, okay, this guy has been appreciated, and there's nowhere else. I cannot show the appreciation letter in my CV. I cannot show it in the cover letter or anywhere else or in the portfolio. This is the best place to show it. Including in the education, while you will have something similar to these CV, you can include your degree, completion letter, certificate, transcripts, and all other things over here as attachments. These are things which will not be shown anywhere else. Voluntary work experience, similar to the work experience. Now over here, as Sattam also asked about skills and endorsements. Now, there are things which I'm evaluating myself in the CV. It may always not be credible. So the employer will go to your LinkedIn profile and see, okay, does he have the same skills and are they endorsed? What I mean by endorsed, people have endorsed me. For example, my skills in AutoCAD has been endorsed, or 23 people have verified that, okay, this guy, this is a skill which is common, and I know this guy knows this skill. And you can even look at the people who have verified. So similarly, in all the other skills, now you can add teamwork and all those skills, team leadership and teamwork skills over here. So team leadership, I have been endorsed by 6 people. So it shows that, okay, 6 people believe I have teamwork. So it's something, this is something which is judged by others better than by yourself. And in your CV, you cannot show that. But over here in LinkedIn, you can show that. So get your skills and get them endorsed. We will see how to get them endorsed by connections. You endorse others, and others will endorse you. Yes, Al-Jadi.
Maybe some minutes ago, you mentioned about updating. How to update the profile? Just check the profile enough?
See, you will check, not checking your profile. Update, I mean, some people, let's say, some people have their work experience, which will show that their work experience is maybe in the past. There's nothing in the current on you. While I know in his CV, he has mentioned that he is currently working over here. So that profile is not updated. So you will check and you will also update. You will update it on your CV and you will update the experience over here as well. You get a promotion, or maybe you get a certification, maybe you become a lead green associate. You update it over here immediately. Come to your LinkedIn and update. You update on your CV is not enough. You have to also come here and update. Your picture also should show a reflection of yourself. So this is about the update. Maybe you get a promotion at work or something. come here and update. Maybe you get a new idea about yourself in the summary or objective, update it in your CV, update it over here. So this is what is meant by updating. Also, always keep on updating your skills. You learn more skill. Maybe I learned a new software or something. I come here and I update it, and I get it endorsed by other people. There's also a new feature. I have not tried it in LinkedIn. It's called Take Skill Quizzes. You can take quizzes about any software which you have mentioned, and they will give you a certificate for it. It's a cool new feature. Try it. If you fail, it's not going to show. You can try again. If you pass, it's a win-win situation for all. So this is a good way of regarding the concern which Sattam asked, that okay, if I say that the skill is my own judgment, it may have a bad reflection or it may not be true. But if I get it endorsed by other people, then it is the best thing which is possible. Next is recommendations on your LinkedIn. This is what you have to update as well. Get recommendations, ask for a recommendation from people who you know. Now you need to add your professors, you need to add professionals who you know, and ask them for recommendation. Regarding the endorsements, you guys are a group of students, 15, 20 in a batch, 50 students in a batch. Why don't you endorse each other? Make use of each other, you know? No one is going to actually click here and see who's endorsing you. Okay, this guy is endorsing his own batchmate, or no one has the time. I'll just look at the number and say, okay, mashallah, 23 people, that's it. So endorse your mates, endorse each other. Why not? It's not fooling someone. It's, you know that your friend knows this software, I know this software. It's the truth. It will only increase the number and make your chances. So now ask for a recommendation. Prior to asking a recommendation, you can send separately a personalized message, or you can ask over here also. You can type, dear Professor XX or dear Mr. someone, and ask him to write a recommendation over here. Now, what is the benefit of having a recommendation on LinkedIn? That sometimes recommendations from some people at the moment, like industry professionals, maybe you did a summer training. The recommendation from those people may not hold that much value. The employers may ask recommendation from professors. That is a separate thing. You will contact them separately as a reference. But over here, you will have from your workmates, even your friends. You say, okay, even your teammates in a group project. If I will say Sultan and Zakaria worked on a project, Sultan will recommend Zakaria, Zakaria recommends Sultan. Why not? You know, you say that I worked with him in a project, he has shown blah, 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 and make a case out of it. So don't be shy in that area. Then your accomplishments, your courses, if you have any publications, is more advanced. Languages, if you have projects, this may include the portfolio or reflect the portfolio. So this is generally your LinkedIn profile, how you will build it. Now we'll see how to use the profile effectively. So now I build a profile. Some people have a very good profile, but next thing you know, they build the profile and you forget about it. You even update the profile, but you forget about it. You say, okay, I'm not gonna do anything with it. It's LinkedIn and it's not that useful and this and that. That is not true. If you use it effectively, you might land a job. I got like several job offers through LinkedIn, people who approached me through LinkedIn. You need to build and add connections, add relevant connections. Do not just add everyone. Connect and send in mails to hiring managers, recruitment managers, even if there's no job advertised. If you search your company, you say, okay, I want to get a job in Jacobs Zait, for example. I search and I see if there's any hiring manager from Jacobs Zait. I add him as a connection. If his connection is disabled, I send him an email that I'm interested in working. Will you be able to help me? And blah blah. There's no harm in that. Do not be shy. The worst thing is he will not reply. It will not affect you with anything. The best thing is he will reply. He will ask you for your details. You might get the job. So do not be shy. Add the connection, even if it's an unknown connection. Add him. This is not Facebook or Instagram, So you're looking for a job, so add the connection. Actively engage in discussions, in posts, in activities. People will look at your comments. They will say, okay, this guy has very good discussion, or I need someone in my company who has his views. So actively get engaged. Maybe, I'm not saying like use it as much as Insta. Some of you are mashallah active, so or Snapchat or anything, but maybe once or twice or thrice a week, browse, find a nice post, write a comment, and that's it. Maybe like one or two ideas or posts, and that's about it. You can also use LinkedIn to apply for jobs. Now, applying jobs through LinkedIn is very easy. You can do an easy apply. It will directly take your profile and send it to the company or whatever. It's a very easy thing. You will find hundreds of jobs and click apply, click easy apply, and just send your application. The downfall to that, it's not that effective. There are hundreds, if not thousands, of applicants in one job. You will not get a reply. I never got a reply through easy applying through LinkedIn. But what you can do is you apply through for the job advertised, as well as you go to the search. You search for that company name. You search for the hiring manager, or you in the job advertised. Usually they have the person who has posted the job. You go to his profile. You send him an email that, dear sir, dear madam, I have applied for this job, and I'm like really interested. And you can send a cover message, and that shows that it takes an extra step other than the rest of the hundreds and thousands of applicants. So if you do not do this, your application will be lost, and I can say with certainty that you will not get a reply back. Next is build your profile to attract searches. Now LinkedIn uses algorithms to help recruitment or people recruiting to search for good applicants in the area. I always get these notifications that you appeared in these searches, 17, 50, sometimes 40, it depends. But you appeared in these searches. So how do people search, or how do companies search, and how does the algorithm of LinkedIn will help or helps the recruitment managers to find your profile? So you need to build your profile to attract these searches. How do you do that? Well, first of all, make sure your profile is public. This is not Instagram or Facebook again. You need people to see you, and you need people to see your name. This is basically required. You need people to see your photo. Nothing to hide over here. Need people to see everything. You need to be known. You need to be seen by people. You can hide your activity. Activity is your the comments and the likes. You can hide that. If you're open about it, you can even include that. So make sure all of these are green and your profile is public. If it's not public, I'm not going to be able to search you, and there's no use for your LinkedIn. Next, using keywords. Use keywords in different areas within your profile, such as your headline, work experience, job titles, and job description. Right, so the keywords, for example, will be represented by your brand. You'll be an architectural engineer with a focus on structural design. Then you will repeat architectural engineer, structural design. In your headline, you will repeat it in your work experience, in the job title and job experience. You will repeat it in the educational experience. You will repeat it. Why will you repeat it? Because the more repetition you have, the more these keywords you have, you can have 3 or 4 keywords, the more your profile will appear, or the higher your profile will appear in the search. Even in the skills, you can say, my skill is architectural engineering, or it is skills, you can make it up, or it's structural engineer. So have those keywords repeated in your profile. This will be based on your brand or based on what you want to be. So you can also add relevant degrees and other certifications you have to your last name, like this. So this is BSc, architectural engineer, blah, 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 GA, these certifications, if you have any, you can add. But in your LinkedIn profile, yeah. So this is the next slide. So these keywords also define the search, as well as the headline, the name, and also affect the way you appear on a search. So if your photo, name, and headline are, first of all, updated, are reflecting the job or the job you're looking for, if architect or architectural engineer, of course, you will include one term, which is general. Architectural engineer is repeated everywhere. Then it will be appear in the search, and this is what people see when they do a search. So this is what most likely you're limited to in the search. So see, if I get 1 million searches, then I will just keep on scrolling and scrolling and scrolling, and I will be quickly just glancing at this. So this is very important to have. And as I said, it should be your personal brand. It can be separated like this. It can be together with your title. Your headline should stand out and highlight what you do or what type of position you're looking for. Again, this is what the brand is. So yeah, this is an example of how the search appears. So if this is a search for data scientists in Seattle, and so this is 25 pages. These are how many candidates? 14,000 candidates. So these are the first 2 candidates which are appearing. Why are they appearing? They have data scientists repeated in their job title. They have in their current position, past position, even in their education. There's a shared connection. The more connections you have, there's a more chance of getting a shared connection. That's why add everyone. Add 500, 300, 600 connections, 1,000 connections on LinkedIn. So that's why. That's why their name is appearing above the 13,687 other candidates. So try to have something like this. Next is your location. If a company is looking for someone, they will generally filter by location. So if you're looking for a job in Riyadh or Jeddah, then change your location to Riyadh or Jeddah. It depends on the preference. If you're preferring a job in the country, change your location to that and mention that I'm willing to relocate. You can be dishonest over here. Current location, if you're here in the Dammam, let's say it's your last year, you're studying in the Eastern Province, but your family is back in Riyadh or Jeddah, you want a job over there, or there's a higher prospect of getting a job in Riyadh because of the development works, change your location to Riyadh. Why not? So there's an element of dishonesty, but we cannot do anything about it. So some additional tips: research the companies you're interested in and follow them in LinkedIn. Follow what the company is doing. Use the advanced search. You can also search in Revit, find people, connect with the people and ask for introduction, right? Send an email or send a message. Send that I would like to introduce you, or send a CV that I'm interested in working with you. So ask for introduction. Look for alumni associated with your college and university. This is very effective on LinkedIn. If I go to a company's page, it will tell me that I have 3 alumni, I have 5 alumni, I have 6 alumni, or I have 6 people who graduated from King Fahd University, or I have 2 people who worked before in King Fahd University who are working at this company now. So that's a plus. That's something common between you and that guy. Now you will go to that alumni, contact him, tell him I'm interested in working in this company. Please, even if you don't know him, even if he's not your senior, maybe he graduated 5 years ago, it will show in LinkedIn that this guy was in the past associated with KFUPM. So go and talk to him. Tell him I'm also from KFUPM. That will give you a start to contact him. And most likely some person will definitely guide you. Be more than a wallflower, be active on LinkedIn. As I said, make some engagements, get involved in LinkedIn professional groups, make some comments here and there. Do not just make a profile and then do not do anything about it. So that was how you need to use your LinkedIn effectively. I know it sounds that it's a lot of work, it's a lot of hassle, but in this competitive day and age, unfortunately, you have to do all of this, without which it is not possible to get a job, unless you have a other reference, but still, again, it's through other reference. They will still come back to your profiles. Anyway, next is the cover letter. So the cover letter can be a separate letter, or if you're applying through email, it can be the email itself. At this stage, you do not need to write too much in the cover letter, just 3 small paragraphs. And looking at this example, it's the perfect size of example. If you're sending an email to someone, my recommendation is to not have a separate cover letter PDF. The email itself is a cover letter. You know, if you have a separate cover letter, what are you going to write in the email? So have the email itself as a cover letter, and this is generally the organization. The purpose is to interest the employer in reading your CV and portfolio. That is why cover letter is very important. If you apply by email, you're not going to just attach CV, portfolio, and write, I'm interested in job, that's it, send the email. No, you need to generate the interest of the employer through a cover letter. Now, this cover letter is also a reflection of you yourself. It is an area where you can reflect your brand the most. Typical structure includes a header, which is this, a greeting, which is this, and I will explain in detail these ones. Introduction paragraph, qualifications paragraph, closing and call of action, and then a sign. So let's see what some of these are typically. So header is your contact information. It's typical and same. The greeting is, if you know the name of the person, it's dear Mr. or Mrs. XYZ, whatever. If you do not know the name or the gender, it's some names, you know, if you know the name and it's a general name, let's say, we can say Jordan, for example. Jordan is an English name. It's used both for female and male. If you have not seen the person's profile and on LinkedIn, you do not know anything, and you know his name or her name is Jordan. But it's confusing. Is it a female or is it a male? Then you will not write Mr. or Mrs. It will actually have a bad impression. So you just write dear hiring manager, dear recruiting manager, dear this, keep it general. So avoid using the Mr. or Mrs. Avoid being gender biased in that case. Also the same goes for the name. Next you have introduction. one paragraph which explain about basic details about your brand, how you found about the job. I saw an advertisement here, somebody told me about it. Why you want the job, include the title of the job you're applying for, provide a general overview of why you would excel at the position, somewhat like an objective of your brand that I believe that this position is an ideal position for me because this is my objective, blah, 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 and something like this. In the second paragraph, you have qualifications. So you have one paragraph talking about your most relevant experience and talk about the specific qualifications and skills that make you the perfect candidate. So you need to know the company, you need to know the job itself. Talk about only those qualifications and skills that will make you a perfect candidate for that job only. And sell yourself, exaggerate in this area. Using adverbs, adjectives. You say, my qualifications, or I'm a honored architectural engineer graduate, blah, 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 exaggerate over here. And I'm a well-versed user of this software, blah. So do not be shy, but do not make it excessive. The paragraph has to be short. Then you have a closing paragraph. In that you will just summarize. You'll say that I believe that my qualifications and enthusiasm will make me the perfect candidate for this job. You thank the employer. Thank you for considering me, and I have attached my CV and my portfolio and my LinkedIn link. Thank you for your considering it. You may attach it, or you may look at those for more detail. And then this is important, the interest in continuing to the next stage in the hiring process, or to the next stage generally. So you'll say, like, please contact me if you want to know more about me, or please let me know if you want any additional thing, or hoping to hear from you soon. Something like this, something which, keeps the thing hanging. It's not a final thing. Like, this is just the beginning. So you don't want to end the cover letter in a way in which it's a define, like, thank you for considering me, and that's it. So show eagerness that, okay, I'm willing to proceed forward. At the end, you have the sign, say sincerely, regards, respectfully, comma, your name. So this was your application in general as an architectural engineer. Some aspects are general aspects. They are not, they apply to all engineering aspects. Some of them are catered more for you guys as ARE, but at the end, for a successful job application, or at least to get an interview, after this, actually, you get an interview. If you get an interview, that means your application is 90% successful. Now you need to succeed in the interview. That's a completely different topic, and you need to further do some research on it. But just getting an interview takes all of this effort. It will take all of this effort, and you need to firstly build your brand, start early, do the CV and portfolio, develop the LinkedIn profile, get help from others. I am available to look at your CVs, your portfolios, give comments, your profiles, your cover letters. You can ask any other professor in the department. Nobody is going to say no. So that was that. If you have any other, some of you have already asked questions. If there are any additional questions or anything, then I'll be happy to help. Yes, Al-Jadi.
There's something in the LinkedIn called, I think, LinkedIn BIME or a BIME profile. Is this really helpful to get a job faster, or to
No.
how?
The Prime is for for people who are hiring mainly. For you, it will give you some access to some people who have hidden themselves. Some people hide themselves. Recruitment managers, they will hide themselves. But you can, you don't need to know them. You can just send them an email regardless. But it's more for people who are hiring rather than people who are looking for the job. So I wouldn't recommend getting the Prime or paying for this LinkedIn. Right. So any other
Any more
questions,
guys? I think there's no more questions, but thank you, Mr. Wahaj. We cannot thank you enough for taking the time out of your day to be here with us. That was really beneficial. Most of us, as you know, are seniors and are about to, enter the after graduation world. So the information today was really beneficial. We thank you for your time today.